Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Coming up tonight in the bulletin, e-commerce flourishing in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic and restrictions to movement. What is the situation in Ghana? Also coming up, how effective and transparent will the online portal due to be created by the NBSSI for submission of applications for stimulus package be? We'll hear from a business development practitioner. And as businesses continue to feel the brunt of COVID-19, we will tell you how one rural bank is cutting down on interest rates for commercial clients. Thanks for being with us. We've got details right after this break. Tonight, calls for the swift disbursement of government stimulus package have heightened as businesses continue to feel the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic, though government has asked the financial institutions to give moratorium for servicing of loans. Not all of them have started. Some small and medium enterprises are compelled under the circumstances to use their trading capital to service loans at the expense of growth and expansion. There is, however, relief from Amemfiman, a rural bank, which has reduced interest rates by 2%. Chief Executive Dr. Alex Asma retraced the need for financial institutions to find innovative ways to support clients to survive the pandemic period. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The impact of the coronavirus continues to weigh on the many businesses, especially in the informal sector. Small and micro enterprises are going through cash flow challenges because people are focusing more on essential commodities for domestic use. With a chunk of its clients in the informal sector, Amemfiman Rural Bank has reduced its interest rate by 2% on business and other loans. Chief Executive Dr. Alex Asma has been speaking to Love Business.
Our assessment of the situation is that we should be able to support each business owner to go through these challenges and come back strong, keeping their businesses. All new loans that we are granting for commercial customers are going down. The interest rate is going down by 200 basis points or 2%. For those who are taking salaries from us and also using their salaries to take loans, what we call the salary loans, are also going down. The interest rate is cut by 1.5%. All of these interventions put together, we believe, will be able to support small business owners to be able to manage themselves and cope with the shocks and the challenges that COVID-19 has brought to all of us.
Government's appeal to financial institutions for moratorium on servicing loans is yet to receive response from many of the banks, so most MSMEs are compelled to pay their loans with their trading capital. Dr. Asma explains the expected impact of the bank's intervention on business and social life of beneficiaries.
So if any of these customers have difficulties generating cash flow at this time and they want us to give them a bit of relief or a holiday to be able to turn around their cash and generate cash flow to support their loan repayment, they have up to 3 months to be able to do that. The second thing is that some of them are generating cash flows, but it's not adequate to meet their monthly installment. And we don't want to put so much pressure on them to use their capital, their trading capital, to pay loans. So we are also replanning their loans to give them smaller installments to pay at this time. So for all our customers who are already having loans and for some reasons they require additional funding to be able to do some more, especially those who are trading in the essential commodities, we are ready to fund them and give them more capital.
Prince Apia reporting.
Well, the National Board for Small-Scale Businesses and Industries will launch an online portal where businesses can log on to and make requests for government's COVID-19 stimulus package. The fund, which is expected to help revive businesses that are being affected by the pandemic, was made available by the Ministry of Finance after parliamentary approval last month. Speaking at a press conference by the Ministry of Information, Executive Director Kosiyanki Ayi disclosed that the online portal will ensure transparency in the disbursement of funds.
We've also come up and worked very closely with the various stakeholders to come up with the eligibility criteria and really tighten it in such a way that it allows for people to have the option and be able to apply for the facility. Exclusively, we've also been able to communicate to everyone, especially the associations, trade groups, and the financial institutions so that they align, so that when the program is rolled out, we'll be able to support and assist. In order to make this more efficient and transparent, the team as well as the board decided to work on a technology portal where applications can be processed and where applications would go to. We are also considering, and with engagements that we've had in the past weeks, to align very closely with those who might not have access to technology in some of the districts across the country, so that we do not exclude anybody from accessing and to apply for this facility. So in the past few weeks, we've been working on this portal as well to ensure that it is the right one for our board to approve, as well as to make it more efficient. Currently, we are stress testing the portal to ensure that on the day when it is launched, when there's a rush or when there are a lot of people, it does not disappoint any of us. And so currently, in the past few weeks, as I've mentioned, we've been working on coming up with the right product to support the micro, small, and medium enterprises, not forgetting the informal, but also considering the formal as well. We've been working on the portal where the applications will come through to ensure that there's accessibility for the nation, not selected people, and it would also be transparent and efficient for us to be able to get our funding. And we believe that in a few weeks, once the stress test is done, we will continue in the coming weeks to engage with various stakeholders so that they can start educating the population, and we'll start the communication as well so that more people know about it and can apply for it to avoid future challenges where people are not able to hear much about what we have to offer that the president had announced as part of the 600 million cedi stimulus.
Well, so that was earlier today at a Ministry of Information press briefing. So how effective and transparent will the use of the online portal to accept applications for stimulus package be? I have been asking business development practitioner John Ama.
What we've got to do is to have that technology and that platform be able to fish out information from the public on, for example, what are your financing needs? Is it that you've worked for X person and then you require payment and it's not been forthcoming? So in that case, the mode of finance will be invoice discounting, for example, right? Good. So necessarily you're not giving the person some loan. You may then pay X person directly or advance monies to him. Now, there's that person who wants to procure equipment. So how do we preserve this money to ensure that we have value for money? To ensure that there's valid receipts, there are about 3 codes from manufacturers and so on and so forth, for us to determine whether or not there's a credible case, because anybody at all can create a financial plan.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question about whether what should be considered when it comes to businesses that are eligible to benefit from this stimulus.
So, an effective KYC procedure would be to look at the market viability of the firm, to look at their past records, historical records, in terms of the audited accounts. Their unaudited accounts can be looked at, but then consequently certified as well. There must be a business development officer necessarily assigned to them so that we can build good business cases. Even though they may not have it, we help them do that. Now, we must also look at the competitive advantage, really. So there's a debate here. Should we invest in companies that in the short to medium term can create exponential jobs because they're a plug and play kind of business? So the business is already running, they have some 3 to 4% drop in earnings. If I were to put in X amount of money, they could employ 2 potential people, 3 potential people, and so on. If we consider that kind of business, then we can apply a weighting to how many of those businesses will push money into. Right. And then there are those that for the long term may inure to the benefit of the economy as a whole, which means that they have a competitive advantage in terms of their production capacity, so their export potential. We need to build that capacity now, so that post-COVID, we know that we're earning some money in Forex, or we're earning some money in exports, or we're earning some money. So that also has to be. You need to also look at the capacity of the founders and the owners of the business.
Let's move on to our top story tonight. A report by the World Trade Organization saying that e-commerce is flourishing in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Various countries have put in place measures to curb the spread of the virus, including lockdowns, and that has contributed to e-commerce flourishing. We want to explore what the situation is like here in Ghana. Joining me is CEO of Market Express, GH, Ebenezer Latte. Good to have you tonight on Business Live. So can we say same for Ghana, the e-commerce space here? Are we flourishing in these times of the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, Thank you, Daryl, for having yeah. So thank you for having me on your show. I would say that it is natural that e-commerce will experience some growth. And so it's the same case for Ghana, and we are all experiencing a certain amount of growth. There are people who normally would not use the online platform, but currently are giving it a chance. And so during the lockdown period, e-commerce definitely saw a very big jump in our operations. But after the lockdown, I think we returned to normalcy. But it's not like before. At the moment, a lot of people are giving e-commerce an opportunity. And some people are trying it for the first time. And so that's good. I pray that it becomes a new normal, that we move into the new economy of the world.
I want to hear about your experience because you run an online grocery shop. If you could tell us about what the situation was like before the COVID-19 pandemic and what it is now, and even after the lockdown.
So we who run an online grocery, we basically survive on retention. And so we have customers that keep coming every time. But with this pandemic, we have an opportunity to encounter very, very new customers that we need to win and keep. So I think the ball is in our court to give them a good experience and make them see that there's a better way of doing things than how we are used to.
I want to find out if it's just you or people in your kind of business, or it's like that for everybody in the space, because I'm wondering, somebody in the online travel and tourism business wouldn't have that same luck as you would have because you're doing groceries.
Okay, so so it's not the same for everybody. I'll be naive to say it's the same for everybody. However, travel is connected to hospitality, and hospitality is completely down. Aviation is down. However, people need to shop, and you know how our markets are structured. If you don't, I don't think anybody will feel safe in a traditional market if you're really concerned about your health. And so a lot of people who are concerned about their health are switching to online options. And I think that that's really the situation. It's mainly retail trade that's picking up online now, and not necessarily the services online.
Okay, I want to move on next and ask you about Jumia, because if we talked about online trading, Jumia was at the top. Now we are seeing something happening with Jumia. What is it? Why is it taking a hit after the historic appearance on the NYSE?
Wow. Okay, so it's difficult to talk about Jumia, but I just would say Jumia is an important player in our market. I think that we all acknowledge that Jumia is a leader and a pace setter, but we are all working hard behind them. And I think that the success of Jumia is the success for all of us in the ecosystem. And so it's not in our interest for Jumia to have challenges and go under. However, I think that Jumia's biggest issue has been with listing on the stock exchange and their stock prices basically plummeting. So that has been the biggest challenge. And I think that they can resolve it. We all look forward to them being able to survive it, and things will be better.
Okay, apologies I put you on the spot on the Jumia situation, but since we're talking about technology, let's talk about the creation of the online portal for the submission of stimulus packages, applications for stimulus packages that was announced by the NBSSI. What do you make of that? Okay, looks like Ebenezer is frozen there, but I guess you made the point about why the e-commerce space is flourishing here in Ghana. He's back on, thankfully, Ebenezer. So I wanted to pick your thoughts on the online portal to be created for the submission of applications for stimulus packages. What do you make of that move by the NBSSI and how effective it will be? Okay, having issues there with technology. But yes, we have seen the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on stock markets globally. But here in Ghana, the Ghana Stock Exchange was initially, doing well. Then now we're hearing that it's beginning to feel the pinch. Stock market analyst Bertha Tubiga has been speaking to me about the impact so far.
For the first time, the Ghana Stock Exchange has actually had this direct impact of this pandemic. And you would say that just like other markets are seeing like low volumes of shares trading and all that, the Ghana Stock Exchange is not exempted because one, volumes of shares trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange has actually gone down. And if you look at the demand, even people currently, let me just put it currently on the Ghana Stock Exchange, okay, a lot of people are relaxed, especially during the lockdowns. People were not going to work, people were not doing business, and all that had an effect on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And if you remember, right from last year, we had the financial sector cleanup being done. The market is yet to pick up from that. And the Bank of Ghana has also issued a directive that listed banks should not pay dividends from now till 2020. All this is having an impact on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And the reason is simple. If you're not paying me dividends from now till 2020 and prices of shares continues to go down, what do? Two things investors, basically two major things that investors are looking for on the stock market. We're looking out for price appreciation, that's in terms of capital gains, and then we're looking out for dividends that are paid at the end of every financial year, depending on how much the companies make. So if the company is not going to pay dividends and the price continues to go down, because we are not seeing much trades go on the stock exchange, within this period, there are days that we don't even see shares trading on the market, and there are days that we see some shares trading and just a few shares are very active on the market or not directly active, let me put it that way. So if this happens and you are an investor and I'm not getting capital gains, I'm not getting dividends, what would you do? I would sell off.
And we are being told that COVID-19 is going to be around for a while, a very long while. And so how do you anticipate things will turn out on the stock market in the future if we are going to have to deal with this pandemic for a long time?
Well, it's not different. If COVID-19 is going to be in for a very long while, it means that businesses that are directly affected by COVID-19 are still going to be out of business for a long while. People that have been laid off because of COVID-19 to actually implement social distancing at workplaces is also going to be in existence for a long while. And all these things are also going to be in existence for a long while. So it means that we're still going to have that slow pace on the market until the financial markets is able to adjust. Mentally, your mind is said that this is something that is part of us now. Until that adjustment is done and people are able to adapt to this change that we have, it's still going to be like that. So once the change is being adapted and we infuse that into our lifestyles, then we could see something better. But if people continue to sell off their shares to make ends meet, if people still don't have confidence in the system, then we should not expect anything better.
And finally tonight, some goodwill from GTB Bank. It has donated 40 water tanks to the Ministry of Local Government for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. These tanks, according to the bank, are to be positioned at vantage points within the metropolis for easy access by traders and customers for hand washing as part of efforts to stop the spread of coronavirus. Receiving the items, the Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ni Ejesoa, admonished Ghanaians to continue adhering to safety protocols to help contain the spread. There is more in the following report.
JTB Bank Limited, one of the oldest financial institutions in the country, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has over the years provided various forms of social interventions to the society. The local bank demonstrated its commitment again when it presented 40 water tanks to the Ministry of Local Government for onward distribution to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and major markets across the country. Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ni Ejesoa, who received the items on behalf of the Assembly, was optimistic they will go a long way to help city authorities fight the coronavirus pandemic and also encourage regular washing of hands.
Water to fill in the Veronica bucket is a major challenge because a lot of people that troops into the market every now and then, either the traders or people coming to buy, and you need constant flow of water so that people will continue to wash their hands, and that's so essential. And we're so excited about this particular donation because it means that storage of water to supply to the Veronica buckets as we've given out will be continuous.
The managing director of the bank, Raymond Ajitisoa, said the gesture was necessary, especially when the bank has a large pool of customers from the markets.
We are very happy this morning that at last the tanks are ready and we are able to donate them to get rid of COVID-19.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Local Government and Rural Development commended the bank for their swift intervention and also appealed to other organizations to emulate GCB's gesture.
When it comes to water, we'll no more be relying on Veronica buckets, but major ones like this, so that as much as possible, you'll have enough water in fighting this whole COVID pandemic. So we commend GCB and we ask other corporate bodies to also come on board and emulate this wonderful gesture by GCB. We assure them that they will see these water tanks all over the place and that they will be put to good use.
The 40 water tanks will be positioned at vantage points for easy access for traders and customers.
And that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.